Hello and welcome to the debate. I'm your host Sana Makbool with you at PTB World. In today's show, we will be taking a look at the current political situation of the country, especially in the aftermath of the video conference that was held by PTI chairman, flagged by CM Punjab and CM KP, in which he announced the date of the dissolution of the assemblies in Punjab and KP, something that he had earlier talked about, will be announced on the 17th of December. And now, apparently, this is going to take place on the 23rd of December. Of course, we don't know yet if the PTI is going to go ahead with that or not. But in the latest development in the aftermath of this political situation, we have also seen that a no confidence motion has been submitted by the PPP and the PMLN against the Chief Minister Punjab, Mr. Parvez Elahi. The session is still ongoing, so we'll be discussing what the future is going to be of this no confidence motion and how exactly it's going to pan out in the Punjab Assembly. Meanwhile, we also know that as part of the video conference earlier held by the PTI chairman, he talked about a lot of streams that he has mentioned before, including, of course, against the former army chief as well, which was not something that went down too well with CM Punjab, that gave his own remarks regarding this in an interview the next day and talked about exactly how this was not something that he was part of or that he shared in his sentiment, and that he truly respects the former army chief and had also advised the PTI chairman not to speak out against him, that he will not be tolerating any such remarks in the future as well, which of course puts a question mark on the alliance between the PTI and PMLQ, something with leaders like PTI leaders like Fawad Chaudhry have been emphasizing again that this is an opinion of the PMLQ, and yet whatever the opinion is, the PMLQ still stands with PTI's decision, and so that bears testimony of the kind of partnership or alliance that exists between the two. But of course, that remains to be seen in terms of whether or not Parvez Elahi is going to go ahead with the dissolution of assemblies as earlier stated, considering the current sentiment that is going on. And now, of course, we know that since a no confidence motion has also been submitted, what exactly is going to happen. So our focus, of course, is going to be on the current political situation of the country, and we'll be discussing all of these angles and trying to understand what is going on and where this political dynamic is going to evolve, especially in the next 4 to 5 days. For this and more, as always, in the studios, I've been joined by senior analyst Farooq Patafi, and today we've also been joined in the studios by senior journalist Mr. Fareed Rais. Thank you very much, Mr. Fareed, for joining us and being a part of the debate. We've also been joined by respected guests online. Mr. Ahmed Karim Kundi, KPMPA from PPP, has also joined us, and of course, our regular Rana Makbool Ahmed, Senator PMLN, has also joined us once again with a smile on his face as always. And perhaps a bigger one is going to come ahead, considering the kind of actions that the PMLN is also planning to take, because you seem pretty confident of the kind of measures that you are going to proceed with, considering the current political situation. Just a couple of minutes ago, we have heard, of course, that a no confidence motion has been submitted against CM Punjab. Exactly when did this decision take place? And then moving forward, considering, of course, that the session is also ongoing, what exactly does the PMLN and the PPP expect in terms of what is going to pan out? Are we looking at this no confidence motion being taken up, and how exactly is that going to happen? And then, of course, when it does, how do you think the result is going to be, considering, of course, the people involved?
Thank you, Didi. Thank you, Sana. There is some communication hazard, but I have understood what did she say.
Okay.
Yes, it's a very good development, because the PMLN thinks that Imran Khan was up to creating unnecessary and purposeless commotion in the country. And his general objective is to create unrest so that it does tell upon the economic life of the country. You might remember of late, once the Prime Minister was there in China, he talked about, rather announced sit-in here. Back in 2014, when the Chinese president had to come, then he was also in sit-in. So he always, now he's also trying the 9th January program, and he has started talking against that. Unfortunately, what I understand, he is not a, I'm sorry to say that, he is not a mentally healthy person. He's so introvert and so self-centered, and he's an extreme, in a way, abnormal individual to an extent that he does develop romanticism with the world of illusion, unfortunately. He lives in a phenomenon of fantasy, unfortunately, and he does not know the real facts of the political life and the parliamentary traditions. Now, this shot is also fired. Now, Pervez Ali never wanted to quit, and he may continue with some steps which will not be told to others. And therefore, I think this fire is shot. And now, as I've been already telling Sana, you might remember, every time, they'll have to go back to the parliament. They'll go to the assembly now. There's no choice.
Right. But Rana Sahab, again, the question of the no confidence motion, you haven't touched upon that. How exactly do you think that is going to pan out, and when did this decision take place?
It will not take very soon, because 15 days are otherwise with the speaker to start the process. After the process starts, then there is a discussion which will be opened within the 3 to 7 days after that. So the parties and the participants and the MPs will make speeches. And after that, there will be a stage of voting. Meanwhile, during the process, what I can foresee, there will be petitions as well, because there is a petition already pending by PMLN of 19 MPs in the Provincial High Court, challenging the suspension of 19 MPs. That is also to be decided. You can't deprive 19 legislators in one go from exercising the vote, their own vote, their right to vote. So therefore, it will take time.
Right, I understand that. And let me talk a little bit more about that. Mr. Fareed, considering, of course, what Rana Sahab is saying is that this is going to be a process, is going to take more time, and of course, there's going to be a lot of other modalities involved. But we also have the announcement by the PTI chairman that the dissolution is going to take place on the 23rd, which is just a couple of days away. So how exactly do you think that this submission of the no confidence motion is going to factor in this announcement and decision by the PTI to dissolve the assemblies on the 23rd? Can it be a sort of hindrance before that actually happens?
Actually, all the players are playing their own strategies at this moment. When PTI Chairman Imran Khan decided and gave the date to dissolve the assemblies on 17th of December, that he is going to dissolve the assemblies on the 23rd. After that, we have seen that the former President Asif Ali Zardari was in Lahore, the Prime Minister Mia Shehbaz Sharif was in Lahore. They met with Chaudhry Shujaat Hussain, and they discussed on these political issues. So as we all know about the maneuvers by the former President Asif Ali Zardari, at this moment, as we all are talking about the vote of no confidence against the CM Punjab, the dissolution of the assemblies and the Punjab Assembly, but the basic thing which I believe in this thing, that before all these things, the topmost priority is the political stability, because as we all know about that, the political stability will lead towards the economic stability. As far as I believe in these things, that these are the things which will going to happen. Imran Khan is playing his own kind of a strategy. If he wished to dissolve the assemblies, he need not give the date of 23rd of December. I believe in this thing. It was at his own opinion, because today, as he said, I just wanted to exert more pressure on the government by announcing the date. He could have dissolved the assemblies.
So you think he's not going to go ahead with it on the 23rd?
Actually, as what we are seeing in this thing, that Imran Khan, he is a player, he is a cricketer, as he used to say that he exercised and he bowls, and he has his own strategy till the last ball. So he is trying to exert the pressure on the government. But as far as the dissolution of the assemblies is concerned, I think that there was no means and there was no need to give any kind of a date, because at this moment he knew these things, but because he knew this, that after giving the dates, there are all the PDM will devise their own strategies as they are doing so.
And they've done so.
They have done so.
Right.
Yes.
Let's talk to Kundi Saab about whether or not they're taking the pressure. Mr. Kundi Saab, considering, of course, that what Fareed Saab earlier was saying is that this may be a form of tactic, and we've seen that in the past as well with what the PTI chairman has announced. Considering that, of course, the kind of response that we've seen from the PMLN and the PPP is now now, of course, the no confidence motion that has been submitted. Is it that you're taking the pressure, or do you really think that this is the right way to go ahead with it?
And Kundi Sahab, why is it that you haven't tabled, similar kind of vote of no confidence motion in your province where you are an MP?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. Thank you, Sana. First of all, I want to tell you that Pakistan People's Party always believe on the stability of the politics and the completion of the parliamentary period. You have seen 2000 to 2013 that we have completed our parliamentary period very successfully. Though our Prime Minister has been changed, but we believe on the continuity of the political period and the completion of the parliaments. As you have seen in 2007 to 13, we have shifted and transferred the civil power to another civilian government from 2013 to 2018. You have seen the PMLN government that has been completed his tenure. So as far as the announcement of the chairman PTI is concerned, we have seen in the past history that the chairman PTI have announced so many announcements, but when there is action is needed, that is really missing. And for that reasons, he is called a U-turn master. And as far as I remember, on 17th, I am very much surprised that why Chairman PTI has announced the date of 23rd December for the dissolution of the assembly. If both the chief minister were sitting on his right side and left side on the 17th December, so why is he giving the time of 23rd? It is really surprising, and every common mind was really believed that it will never happen on 23rd. And you have seen the statement after that press conference on 17 December when Chairman PTI addressed the nation. After that, Parvez Ilahi have given so many statements that was totally against the...
If you're so sure that this is not going to happen on the 23rd, why the no confidence motion?
Sana, that is very much clear. If you have a very thin majority in a Punjab, so if you have given the time to the opposition, it's a normal process. It's our constitutional right to put a vote of no confidence, and every political mind will definitely table or submit the vote of no confidence to gain the time period. It's a normal thing. It's not a surprising thing. As far as Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is concerned, we don't have a majority. They have a 2/3 majority. And I request, and I just from your program, I want to say Chief Minister, advise to Chief Minister Khyber Pakhtunkhwa that he should dissolve the assembly on 23rd December. We are not going to move any vote of no confidence. So they are free to implement their decision, which they have announced on 17th December. So let's do them. It's very clear.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll come back to you and talk more about that. But Farooq, considering, of course, that what Kundi Sahab was also referring to earlier, Mr. Parvez Ilahi's remarks, especially after the video conference with the PTI chairman, of course, pointed towards cracks between this alliance and has been part of much debate in terms of where both parties stand. What do you think in terms of this particular decision with regards to the dissolution of assembly? And then, of course, moving forward, do you think that there are big cracks in this alliance now?
Yeah, I think, Sanat, that is exactly so. At this moment, it seems that there are cracks even within PTI and within PMLQ, the ruling party in Punjab. Even we have heard reports that there was an exchange of loud words or harsh words between Parvez Ilahi and his son Monis Ilahi. This is being reported by certain quarters in the media. But regardless, there seems to be some very mystifying approach to politics that is going on, especially when it comes to PTI. PTI, I have not been able to understand what point it wants to make right now by dissolving these two assemblies, given it was their demand that there should be general elections and the head of election commission should be replaced with someone that they also trust. And then, of course, they wanted, everything to actually be streamlined, especially expatriate community be given voting rights. At this moment, if this assembly, is dissolved, regardless of vote of no confidence, if that was to be the case, they don't get the federal elections, they don't get the expat votes, they don't get the so-called independent chief election commissioner that they are demanding.
Okay.
So with all that in mind, I don't understand what exactly is the nature of the attempt. Now let us also talk about vote of no confidence itself. I understand that when it comes to the number game in Punjab Assembly between PTI and PDM, there is virtually dead heat. Both, PDM also has 180, vote of 180 MPs, and similarly PTI also has 180 members, right? Then who has got the trump card? It is the ruling party in Punjab that has 10 members. I'm talking about Chief Minister of Punjab, right? And then one independent. Now the amazing thing is, if you are going to actually change any kind of architecture in the assembly, you need support of the 10 members, including Chief Minister, to actually bring down the Chief Minister. And amazingly, if you are going to do it, I mean, the Chief Minister had a better way to do it by resigning his post. That way he could have vacated the seat and created a kind of dynamic that would have bought the opposition some kind of time. So I don't know where this is headed, but I'm sure of one thing: it doesn't head towards what Imran Khan Sahab has been saying is his ultimate goal.
Right. Rana Sahab, considering the numbers that have been pointed out by Farokh just now, how exactly do you hope to succeed with the no confidence motion?
Sana, as usual, Mr. Imran Khan is making incorrect calculations. There is a difference of 10 members vis-a-vis both the parties, PTI and PMLN. But who can predict to which candidate or the Chief Minister they'll vote for or vote against once there is a vote of no confidence? Can anybody
It is not
predict?
a secret ballot, sir. It is not a secret ballot.
No. It's not a secret ballot. Yeah. It's raising of hands. But if those 10 persons raise hands against the Chief Minister, he'll have to step down. And they selected new Chief Minister. And as we understand, we also hear different news about that the pattern of the party...
What's the probability of that, Rana Sahab? What's the
And
probability
secondly,
of that happening?
Rana Sahab, secondly, anybody going against their own party, the matter has been settled by Supreme Court already.
Yes.
So they won't be able to actually go against their own candidate.
No. That is not their party. They are going as a whole. They will go as a whole, and the president of the party is Shujat Hussain. It's not Pervez Elahi for all practical purposes. We must understand that. But if at all there is some change which will take place, that will be taking place. There is the consensus. There is a mending of fences between Chaudhry Shujat and Pervez Elahi. We must understand that. And as Pervez Elahi was pouncing upon the leader, Mr. Imran Khan, yesterday, and you could understand the tenor and the way he was addressing him, and it was also in a way derogatory, by what I understand, towards Imran Khan. So they look to be parting of the ways.
Right,
So
Rana Sahab,
this-
and I want to talk a little bit more about what you're pointing towards, because that's interesting and that's serious in terms of what you're saying. Fareed Sahab, considering what Rana Sahab is saying, of course, he's pointing towards a possibility with regards to the no confidence motion that, of course, we don't yet see happening in terms of any rhetoric or statements coming out. But with where the PMLQ stands, especially with the party's president, how is this going to go ahead?
Actually, Sanab, this is a question about Rana Sahab. You are asking again and again, Rana Sahab, about the probability and possibility about what going on.
He's given one.
Yeah, but the basic thing which I understand, and I always question this thing, that in spite of giving all the deadlines, in spite of giving off all the dates, in spite of giving off all the ultimatums and all the threats to dissolve the Punjab Assembly, the basic thing is over here. Do IK have any kind of a plan? What aims and objectives he has? Actually, he wishes to hold the general elections. He wishes that if by dissolving the assemblies in the Punjab, if by dissolving the assemblies in the KP, He thinks that the government should hold the general elections, but the basic thing, which what we consider over here, that the government has already, the election commission has already stated that if the assemblies will be dissolved, there will be elections in the Punjab also.
No, I understand that, but what of the possibility that Rana Sahab was talking about earlier?
I think so. Rana Sahab could better tell us about the policies, what his party is going through as a journalist.
No, he's not talking about his own party. He's talking about PMLQ,
yeah.
right? So, and the problem is PMLQ's number include the chief minister himself. Is he going to vote against himself in vote of no confidence? It is unlikely, is it?
Very sir.
You're asking?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think so. Chaudhry Shujat will play a very decisive role.
No, but that matter was settled by the Supreme Court of Pakistan already. That's why the chief minister is the chief minister. Because Chaudhry Shujat's role did not play in, and that's why you have got this party.
Yeah, but I think so that these are the things which will things will get clear in the coming days, because as Chaudhry Shujat said, that what he said in this thing, that is he said that the tenure of the assemblies will complete their tenure, and the coming 2 to 3 days will be some kind of decisive thing in the political scenario, and everything will be fine. Nothing will happen. So
all right, let's see. Kundi Saab, your take on the fact that when we take a look at the Punjab Assembly, of course, you gave another aspect with the KP Assembly, and I'll come to that. I still have that in mind. But considering what we are talking about the Punjab Assembly with regards to PMLQ seats, how exactly do you think it's going to pan out in terms of what Rana Saab is saying, with the PMLQ actually going against their own CM?
Sana, first of all, I want to tell you that it is really surprising when the chairman PTI was announcing to when he was addressing the nation on 17th December, when he gave time of 23rd December, it was very much clear that the Chief Minister Punjab will never go for dissolution, and he will gain time, and that will be the some delaying tactics.
Kundi Saab, sorry to interrupt, but we'll have to take a short break, and I'll come back and listen to your views once again. Welcome back to the debate. We're talking, of course, about the current political situation and speaking to Mr. Ahmed Karim Kundi. And of course, Kundi Sahab, you were earlier mentioning what is happening in terms of the decision taken by the PPP and the PMLN of a no confidence motion against CM Punjab, and exactly how that is going to pan out. Please continue. Kundi Sahab, are you with us?
Yeah, I am with you.
Go ahead.
Let me frame the question like that. Let's suppose if there is a vote of confidence in Punjab, what will they do in KP Assembly? Will the Chief Minister of KP Assembly dissolve its assembly on 23rd according to the instructions or the announcement of the chairman PTI? I want just to ask all the panelists, what do you people think? I think they will never ever do. It's my opinion. As they have.
But Kundi Sahab, it was also your suggestion for the CM to do so.
Right, and by the way, Kundi Sahab, why do you think if both the CMs actually did not want to dissolve assemblies, why were they actually flanking Imran Khan that day when they knew that he's going to announce something like that?
Actually, Imran Khan is also a master of U-turn. You have already seen in the past history of his political career. And every member of the parliament, either it is a Khyber Pakhtunkhwa assembly, either it is a Punjab assembly, no one is interested in the dissolution of the assembly. It's the Khan egos, it's the Khan only announcement. He's desperate for his prime ministership. And as in the past history, everyone is now convinced that either the allies or the member of the National Assembly or the Provincial Assembly that has been managed by some other actors of this country, not by the Khans. Khan didn't even know about the economy, didn't know about his allies. He can't hold his allies in a future or in any venture or political venture. So these supports have been disappeared from Khan. Now let's see how the Khans play in his political career, which genuinely start after this vote of no confidence in the National Assembly. So let's see
Right.
how he tackles.
Right, Kundi Sahab, earlier you were advising the CMKP to dissolve the assemblies on the 23rd. Can you help me understand why exactly did you give this advice?
And by the way, why don't you extend the same advice to the center? Because at this time, it seems that the most affected province because of terrorism is Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. If there is going to be instability there, then the same argument applies to the center as well.
I have mentioned you earlier that the Pakistan People's Party really advocate for the completion of the parliament, completion of the time period. But as far as you are mentioning that 23rd December, we are very much clear that the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa CM will never ever dissolve the KP Assembly on 23rd on the excuse that the Punjab has been now facing the vote of no confidence. That has been very clear before the announcement of the chairman PTI that the Punjab will face the vote of no confidence. So that will be the excuse for the Chief Minister of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. I once again from your platform invite Chairman PTI, let's the time period, let's the tenure of the parliament be completed, because Pakistan political history is democratic history is very fragile.
That's better.
We have successfully completed 2 tenures from one civilian government to the next civilian government, and general election is not too far. 8 months or 7 months, I think it's not too far. Let's sit in the assembly. Let's come. I am also inviting Chairman PTI and the PTI member of the National Assembly. Come to the National Assembly. Let's debate regarding the election reforms. Let's debate according to the election commission, voters process, and go good election, which is coming after 7 months, which is not too far, I think so.
Right. Rana Sahab, are you also extending similar invitations to the PTI as well in terms of dialogue and consultations, which even after what has transpired since Saturday has been spoken about by PTI leaders also, and of course political stability is talked about as a major concern or major objective. How exactly do you think that when we talk about this particular decision or stance, is the PMLN working towards this? Is there any such extension from your side?
So now you might remember repeatedly I've been saying this. There's no other solution to the problem except for sitting on the table of parleys. That is the only choice left. And Khan Saab should reconsider his policy of aggression and undue demonstration of anger. The statesmen don't vomit their anger the way he does. He must pick up the serious and mature habits of the statesman if he wants to stay back in arena. Otherwise, he'll tumble out of the politics. This is a difficult field, and more so he is handicapped now. As it said, जो बेचते थे दुआए दिल, वो दुकान अपनी बढ़ा गए. So he is now all by himself. So that strength is not there on which he has been banking throughout. Therefore, he should understand his weaknesses as well. He always asks for moon. The Chief Election Commissioner should be sacked. Well, how can he be sacked? There is a constitutional provision. There is an Article 209 of the Constitution. Nobody can send him home except for the Supreme Judicial Council. That too after proper legal process and hearings. It's not possible. Neither the President nor any other forum can send him home. And he's asking to remove the Chief Election Commissioner. Nobody can remove him. Unless he voluntarily says, no, I can't work, I'm not well, and other justifications. So he does not understand the delicacies of law and the intricacies and ramifications of the action and the announcement he makes, unfortunately. So he is complicating issues for himself, and his challenges are getting enormous more than before due to his own miscalculations. And
right,
due to his own provocative, yes, that is the problem.
Right, absolutely. Farooq, considering, of course, the impact this has had, and earlier what you were referring to in terms of the gain that the PTI seems to have, which is, of course, not very clear. But at the end of the day, if we take a look at what is happening right now with regards to this decision or announcement that has already been made on the 23rd, it's something that the PTI has, of course, announced. And then now the no confidence motion against CM Punjab. How is that impacting or factoring in PTI's stance, not not just with regards to elections if they are held in KP and Punjab, but also in terms of their stance in the general elections which are coming ahead soon. And then when we take a look at the fact that when we have the no confidence motion also submitted against CM Punjab, how is that going to impact the decision in KP? Will that be something that is going to then be retracted based on whatever the result is?
Absolutely. I think Kundi Saab is really correct when he is talking about the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Assembly's desire not to actually get dissolved. I know it for a fact because we keep on hearing it, that Parvez Khattak Saab and his coalition partners, especially party within party, are not very happy with the idea of dissolution, premature dissolution. They still have a lot of projects that they can actually build upon, and then they can go into the election capitalizing on their achievements or whatever that is. Similarly, in Khyber, in Punjab also, Sana, if you are watching private channels, if you are watching various newspapers, you must have seen a lot of ads that are being pushed out where Punjab government is also, claiming victory or actually taking credit for many projects that they have started. So at this time, it is clear that whosoever actually advised it to Imran Khan Sahab did not have his interests, best interests at heart, because all this idea that somehow these two assemblies are going to blackmail the ruling coalition to actually force an election at the center is a non-starter. You never know whether it is going to work. It might not work. You are assuming that because you think that you are very popular, you might actually carry the Punjab Assembly. You never know what happens in the coming days. 3 months is a long time to change a lot of dynamics. So at this moment, I don't know what exactly, who exactly Imran Khan Sahab is listening to. And there is an indication. If you go to, drawing room chatter, everybody used to say that there are two people he listens to. He doesn't listen to anybody else. One gentleman has gotten retired. The other one is his life partner, right? And repeatedly it was said that she actually is pushing him towards the brink, and something very interesting happened. Do you remember that day when I told you that Imran Khan Sahab is about to begin his long march, and people are giving him this messianic impression or image that might compel him to risk his life, and then a couple of days later he was attacked on the road, right? And then he tells us in on the same day when he announced that he is going to dissolve assemblies, that the former First Lady, despite knowing that he has threats, keeps on telling him to actually go and risk his life. When you have this kind of, of course, there was a pattern in the past also. There was a leader of a party who was killed. Her spouse actually was thrust into politics and became president, but that was a separate issue. My problem is that whenever you are popular, whenever you are strong, there are people who latch on to you and actually siphon off your popularity and try to benefit.
Sure.
There might be something similar happening to Imran Khan Sahab, and he doesn't understand that he's holding his own party hostage to that, and then national interest to that as well, because in Bannu, today there was crisis. In Khuzdar there were explosions. Economy is in bad shape, but the entire country's imagination is held hostage by this, whether he will do it or whether he won't.
Absolutely, and we of course hope better from our political leaders. Rana Sahab, I'll just come to you very quickly. Let me just, yes, go ahead, Rana Sahab. Go ahead, go ahead.
You might have come to know about the development. The governor has asked the chief minister to take vote of confidence by Wednesday. So this letter has been issued to the chief minister. That development is very important, and that will be the turning point.
Absolutely, and it will be, of
yes.
course, a huge turning point, and it remains to be seen what happens then. But Fareed Saab, your last comment with regards to what you've been saying is that Imran Khan is not going to go ahead with the dissolution. But of course, the announcement has been made, and we know that there may be a history of U-turns. But considering, of course, the stakes involved right now and how far can this be taken ahead, how do you think the PTI is going to keep on going ahead with this sword in the air of the dissolution of assemblies, considering what Rana Saab also just said right now, that we only have day after tomorrow to see?
Sana, it will not be new for me if Imran Khan takes a U-turn from this kind of an announcement, because it has been done by him repeatedly. And I totally agree with Farooq that Imran Khan must review what decisions he is being making of, and he must review within his party that it might be possible that by announcing the dissolution of the Punjab Assembly, by the KP Assembly, he must look within his party whether there are some kind of
sorry to cut
divide
you,
in his party.
You began your answer by calling it a U-turn, right? And then you're saying that he must review. Then promise me that if he does take a U-turn, you're not going to shame him by calling it a U-turn, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you
Absolutely.
very much, Rana Maqbool Saab, for joining us. Thank you very much, Ahmed Kareem Kundi Saab. Thank you, Mr. Fareed Rais, for joining us. And thank you for being a part of the debate. As always, that's all we have from the show. We'll see you tomorrow.